What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Funky. And we got a good show planned for you tonight. Buckeyes, coaches on the trail, recruiting. A lot of good news there. We know this class is not over. A lot of details to dive into tonight. Before I do that, chat, appreciate you guys for joining us. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share this feed anywhere you can. Super chats are open. Let's get this thing popping. Funky, how are you, bro?
I'm doing good, Devin. I woke up feeling like a national champion, and I'm very looking forward to this weekend of football games. It's going to be another great weekend of college football and a weekend where the Buckeyes can't lose. So that's always a good one, and I'm excited because you know what a bye week means. That means the coaches go on the road and go all across America visiting these top prospects in the class 2026, 2027, and even 2028, some of them. So very looking forward to what comes out of the weekend and really looking forward to watching hopefully the Cornhuskers take down the Wolverines, giving them a second loss in 4 games, which would be absolutely glorious. And that line is pretty much 50-50. So I like the Cornhuskers' chances in that one, and I'll definitely be tuning into that. But yeah, great to be here with you and great to be back on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a good game. I still don't know. I might be live streaming that game, having a live watch party. I got asked to do that. So if I don't head out of town tomorrow, I'm going to do it. I thought I would know that answer today. I do not. But, Funky, what I want to do before I dive into hey, what prospects are these Buckeyes gonna go after here? Where are they visiting and all that stuff? I want to do a little brief overview of this class. So here we go. Chris Henry. I'm going to give the rivals industry ranking. Chris Henry, 19 nationally. Blaine Bradford, number 46. Sam Greer, 54 in the nation. Sincere Johnson. Kari Wilder, 5-star defensive end. Simeon Caldwell, linebacker, safety. Jordan Thomas, cornerback. Caden Dixon Wyatt, Max Riley, Favor Key, Damari Simeon, Jaden Ricketts, CJ Sana, Jaquaden Guilford, Aaron Thomas, Cameron Brickle, Tucker Smith, Corbin Fordham, Brock Boyd, Luke Fahey, and Jameer Perez. That is the class we currently have. Now, Funky, if before I read these names, you go back the last 3 or 4 years in Buckeye classes, give me the number 1 and 2 want that you think Buckeye fans and us and people always want. What's their number 1 and 2? Hey, man, we're psycho about it. Let's get it. What 5-star positions do we want to have more often than not?
I mean, I'd say the offensive tackle position and the defensive line position, the Brandon Bakers of the world or the David Sander Juniors of the world, the star offensive tackles currently playing for elsewhere. So those are the two positions I would want, Devin. So what do you have to
Yeah.
say about that?
Well, what I have to say about that is we have those in this class. Okay.
Wow.
Kari Wilder just got bumped up to the number 1 defensive line in the nation, 5-star. Sam Greer is a 5-star tackle. He will be a 5-star before the end of the class. But what I have to say is everybody is starting to come around to that and people start to talk more positively about the class. But am I tripping, Funky, or was it about a month, maybe a month and a half ago? People were pretty down on this class. People talking about how, our our last national title last year had a bunch of 5-stars. We need more 5-stars, and we need top 100 kids. And the Buckeyes haven't added any different kids to the class, but people are starting to get more pumped up about this class. So I just want to take this moment to kind of show people how recruiting operates, how don't necessarily run and look at the ranking. Go watch their film on yourself. Go listen to somebody that you know knows football and watch the recruit yourself, because what the Buckeyes have done in this class, like they do always in the class, is elite evaluations, evaluations that are ahead of the rest of the country, quite literally. Kari Wilder, I mean, when the Buckeyes got in on him, nobody, right? Nobody else in the country, none of the big dogs were really in on him. He was ranked like outside the top 500 in the class. I mean, Sam Greer, at one point in time, he was ranked somewhere in the 200s in the nation. So they seem to know what they're looking at when they go to find these prospects. And as a fan, I always continue to say, trust these coaches, and that's what we need to do. But this class, without adding anybody new, I think as elite is going to keep getting better. What do you think about the overall, you know, the overall star power in this class that we have?
I mean, it's pretty load. I'm pretty loaded. Like, if we want to talk about who Ohio State would consider a 5-star, and even now a lot of these sites would consider 5 stars. You go through it, and I mean, Kari Wilder. It's not just a 5-star, but a top 15 player in the class. And then like you said, the number one defensive lineman in the entire class. And then you go to Chris Henry Jr., which is, I mean, he's the number one wide receiver in America, no matter what pretty much anyone else says. He was number one a year ago, still is the number one. Just they're giving him the slow boost in his rankings due to his prior injury history. But in a year, that injury will be well in the past and not really something to worry about. And then you got Sam Greer, who was top 20 player ranked in the country, 16th player ranked in the country, I believe, by the On3/Rivals thing. And then Blaine Bradford, which is, if you ask anybody in Louisiana, anyone in Columbus, or really any national ranker, that kid's a 5-star. He gets 5-star attention, and that kid is a 5-star. You can just look at an offer list, and that tells you a lot about a recruit. You can look at some of these top-ranked wide receivers in the country. I'm pretty sure the number one receiver in the country has like no offer from like Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, LSU, none of the top dogs, and somehow still ranked as the number one wide receiver in the country. So people like recruits like that, or recruits I don't want to buy on. Recruits I want to buy on are the recruits like Kahari Wilder, which is who was being heavily recruited even back in May. Just a lot of teams got a little late into the jump as of recently, and now you see teams like Georgia, Bama, Michigan join the Kahari Wilder train, trying to flip him. Or they're going to have no success in that because, again, Larry Johnson got this guy in the boat early, gave him a nice bag early, and they're not looking elsewhere at all. Not visiting, great parents, great kid, and right from my Southern California roots. And I remember talking back on the show in about, it was probably early June. I think it was with you, Devin, it might have been B. Moses. And I was talking to y'all about how Kahari Wilder should be a top 100 kid in this class. And that was when he's ranked, 350? So
Yeah.
the fact that he's risen inside the top 15 is shocking to even me, who grows up. I live about an hour and a half away from this kid, and I've seen him play 5+ times in person, which is, I guarantee you, more than any of these national recruiting analysts. And I thought he was a legit star, but he's been blowing everyone out of the water in his senior year. And I'm very, very excited for him to be a Buckeye. Then you even look at guys in the Northeast, Evan. You got Jordan Thomas and Damari Simon, defensive tackle and cornerback, both guys that I was extremely high on and extremely excited to, see become Buckeyes. Jordan Thomas was he was a top 3 cornerback on Ohio State's total board. Like, starting from scratch, who are the best 3 cornerbacks in America? Jordan Thomas was on that list. And Damari Simon was on that list as well for defensive tackles. So those are the numbers 2 and number 3 ranked players in New Jersey. So now it'll be interesting to see what the Buckeyes can do with that, that number 1 player. So very looking forward to seeing what this class finishes out, because I guarantee you this class is going to finish strong. And last year, or historically, our classes don't finish strong. They just don't. We lose more talent than we gain most of the time. Last year, you can argue that we actually didn't, because we got Turbo Rogers, a top 4 running back in the class, and Epi, who's a top 10 edge in the class. So it'll be very interesting to see how we end this class. But I think I could not even think. I'm very, very, very confident that we're going to end up very happy with this class come December, especially with the kids that we're getting. We're getting kids with good heads on their shoulder. So, and also I got to bring this up. The Caden Dixon Wyatt rating is criminal, absolutely criminal. It's like ridiculous. It's like, you really think teams like Oregon, USC are throwing absolute mayhem bags at this kid if they don't think he's all that? Like, come on, give me a break. It's a joke, and he's filling up the stat sheet versus the best comp. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll let you go, Dev, but it's just ridiculous that they even rank him outside the top 300. Like, that's dumbfounded.
I mean, on that note, Rivals has him ranked outside the top 300. 247 is on par where he needs to be. He's at number 60 nationally ranked player, like altogether, the number 6 wide receiver in the nation. That's where he needs to be. I went and watched them in person. Both Tristan Keys was there, by the way, and he's ranked ahead of Chris Henry in every single category. Tristan Keys played for SFE, and I was, watching right there on the sidelines. Chris Henry Jr. is the number 1 wide receiver in the nation. He was the number 1 overall player in the nation, and because he got injured, right, they moved him down. Well, he's since recovered quite well from that injury. But I like your breakdown. Chris Henry Jr., Blaine Bradford, Sam Greer, Kari Wilder. Those are all 5 stars. They will end up 5 stars as well. And then you got Caden Dixon Wyatt. Damari Simeon is underrated as well, even though in the new Rivals just recently updated. None of the other ones have. But in the new Rivals one, Damari Simeon is a number 63 player nationally. So there's several kids in this class that are just going to keep climbing up. But that being said, if we stop this class now, I'm going to be extremely happy with this class. But that being said, this is Ohio State. We don't expect just to be happy. We expect perfection as fans. Why? Because this is the most successful football program in the country in a lot of aspects, right? We see all these charts floating around all over, Twitter recently with NFL production, AP poll voting. And guess who's always up there in the top 3 in every single one of those? It's Ohio State, right? The only team that can say that. So there are a couple areas in this class that we would like to see a couple additions being made, Funky. So I want to, before I get going on this list, what are the areas in this class? Give me your top 2 areas you would like to see the Buckeyes add another player to, a player or two to.
I would definitely like, or it's really just 2, for being honest. I would like
Yeah.
to see the Buckeyes add an edge, another edge, because we are lacking on the edges we have. Honestly, I can't even think of one that we have committed yet, Devin. Am I wrong on that?
An edge?
Yeah, like a true edge.
No, we don't have. I mean, Kari Wilder is the only person that's considered an edge, but he's not even ranked as an edge, and he's 255 pounds already.
Yeah, he's a big
So
kid, and I mean, see,
yeah,
it's like our interior defensive line class is great. So I would like a true edge that can be. I mean, the person I'm looking at is Luke Waffles there, and then another true cornerback, like a true cornerback 1, cornerback 2 type prospect. I would really like to see the Buckeyes see, and there's one staring right in front of us, Danny Odom. He'll be there. It's Danny Odom and Luke Waffles. Those are the 2
yep,
guys every Buckeyes fan needs to be locked in, focused on, and really crossing their fingers on, because those are the guys the Buckeyes really want. So if the Buckeyes really want them, then that's the guys we want, because they
yeah,
have those guys ranked really high in their own personal rankings. Luke Waffles, I'm pretty sure, is the number 1 player that we have ranked in the entire nation. So the Buckeyes are extremely high on him, and it'll be interesting. But those are the 2 guys those are 2 positions I want, and those are the 2 guys I want to fill those
yeah.
positions.
So you got a little bit of a head start, but let's jump into that. Let's start with the edge position. I agree with you. Edge is number 1 for me. That I want to pick up in this class. Another or an edge player, like you said. Kari Wilder's a big old boy, but we'll see what happens there. So let's start with, a lot of Buckeye fans want to say Carter Gooden. He's a defensive end committed to UCLA. UCLA just lost their coach. So the Buckeyes evaluated him, never went really hard after him. So we'll see what the Buckeyes do there, but I don't expect much. But Funky, you really hit the nail on the head with Luke Waffle. Larry Johnson will be watching him play tomorrow. And the Buckeyes are going all out, full force on Luke Waffle. So we'll see what the Buckeyes are able to do there. There's 2 things, right? 2 things to keep an eye on. The UCLA coach just got fired. They are looking into hiring the USC defensive coordinator. So if that happens, that begs some questions. Hey, is that going to make some of these USC commits a waiver on their commitment to USC? And then another question that I've been, very adamant about here on this channel, the funny money. USC, right? They're the number 1 school right now that people think there's some funny money being floated around. Now, I don't know for a fact, but what I do know is that kids feel the same way. There's some commits that are a little nervous about the same thing that I'm talking about right now, and it's that the money that was promised to them, are they really going to see it? So Luke Waffle's one of those guys. Dre Quinn, a Clemson commit, is possibly going to be visiting for the Minnesota game. The Buckeyes reached out to him. He's the number 16 edge in the class, 6'3", 225. So that's the defensive end. There's the names that we all know. KJ Ford with the way Florida is playing. Do we circle back there? Carter Meadows, the scum commit. I don't think those guys are on top of the Buckeyes' radar, but they're names to keep an eye on. But, Funky, there is another name that isn't being floated around right now to keep an eye on. And I just want to reiterate that I firmly believe the Buckeyes will flip a top 100 defensive end in the country before the signing class is up. How do you feel about that crazy prediction I just made?
I like it. I would think there's a well over 50% chance of that happening. So if I was a betting man, then that's where my money would be on, that the Buckeyes were able to flip one of these top defensive end prospects by the end of the year. And to get to the point about UCLA, I have it on good authority from players on the team that they think the program is getting cut in entirety. So yeah, I've got that on good authority that they think the program is getting cut. That's a quote I got from a player on the team. He says that they genuinely think the program's going to get cut. So anyone going to UCLA right now is not very smart, because they're literally on a brink of cutting not just football, but like a ton of athletics on UCLA. Like UCLA it might become bare bones academics institution here relatively within the next 10, 20 years. And we talk about mid-majors dying due to all these restrictions and NIL and it becoming really expensive. But UCLA might be the huge domino to fall in that shortly. That's kind of a big thing to say, but that is what I know. I know it sounds crazy too, but this is from a player on the team. Later, I texted him right after the front Deshaun Foster got fired, and I was like, yo, any like players you're talking to, you're going to jump in the portal? And he's like, nah, no one's really getting interested anyways. So we're just going to finish out the season. And they're like, people are scared that the program's going to be entirely cut. So they don't want to lose. They just pretty much want to play it out. They want to play it out. They want to play football. Yeah. They don't want to sit in the portal. So anyone going to UCLA right now is not very smart. That's what I'll say. Not very smart.
That's wild to say, considering when I think UCLA, where they're at, the support that they should have in that area. If that happens, something has just gone extremely astray there. But that's for another show.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. We're on the defensive line, so I'm going to go ahead and mention this as well. There's talk the Buckeyes add a fourth defensive tackle to this class. And he's one that I talked about a lot. He's one that I think I know the Buckeyes chose Cameron Brickell over this guy at the current time, and that's Emmanuel Ruffin, number 126 player nationally, defensive tackle out of Alabama, possibly visiting for the Minnesota game as well. So keep an eye on that. But let's go down to the second position, Funky, that you said, the corner position, which I completely agree with. Signed 1 or 2 last class with Devin Sanchez and Jordan Woods. In this class, when they got 1 committed so far, a very good one. But we need another one. Danny Odom, you mentioned that, committed to Nebraska. Walton's going to visit him on Friday. So Buckeyes put the full court press, still staying in that one. But the most interesting one to me, and the one I watched the film here, super fast riser in the 26 class, Jay Timmons, committed to Florida State right now. Florida State's doing really good, so I think that's going to be a tougher pool. But he's the number 18 corner in the nation, number 123 nationally on the industry boards. But he's the number 26 prospect in the nation on the updated Rivals. So super fast rising prospect, 5'11", 185 pounds. Walton visited him on Monday and offered him on Tuesday. So we'll see what they can do there on the corner position. But, Funk, you got anything to add to that, or you want me to go ahead to the safeties and then just talk about the whole secondary?
I'm really interested to see how this weekend goes with Danny Odom, because the Buckeyes are going to see him Friday. They're going to be all up in his ear. Hey, like, we only have one other cornerback committed. This is a free fast way track, or fast track way to play early, because the class above us, the cornerback position really wasn't that loaded either. There's Woods, who I don't think Odom should be scared of, and Devin Sanchez, who's going to be 3 years and out. So the cornerback class in this class, you can pitch it as extremely important to these recruits, and you can obviously he's going to go to Nebraska the next day, and they're going to watch the Nebraska Michigan game, and us as Buckeyes fans, we can sit here and we can watch Nebraska win and be like, screw Michigan, or we can watch Nebraska fumble it away and choke and have Danny Odom have that one little linger in his head. Hey, you know, if you lose a game like that recruiting weekend goes to crap. Like it turns into a negative recruiting weekend for all these kids. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I'm really excited to see. Yeah, it's a win-win in my head, really, because if they lose, then all the momentum is going to be in the Buckeyes' hands. But if they win, then Michigan loses, so we also win. So
Yeah,
it's a
I like that.
win-win. No, it
Yeah,
is because like when these kids visit, like don't think the losing and winning doesn't matter. It 100% matters, especially for a team like Nebraska, which they've been preaching. Oh, we're back, we're back, we're back, baby. And they go in, and if they embarrass, no, true, that's what they're saying, really. And if they go in
I
and they
know.
play Michigan and they get their ass kicked, or they lose, or they look like the same old Nebraska team, then these kids aren't going to buy it, and this can give them more reasons to jump ship, especially to a team like the number one team, reigning national champs in America.
Yeah. Let me remind you guys of something, right? Of what the Buckeyes are doing this year. Scoops talked about it a bunch over there. The strategy the Buckeyes have, they're playing the long game here. They're keeping the relationships up with Danny Odom and with Luke Wayful, and we'll see what they do signing day, right? With bringing in the new updated nil offers that they have. They're getting a firmer grasp on how the new CSC and all these new nil rules, how they're being handled. The Buckeyes have a firm grasp on that now, even though it's still not, those rules still aren't finalized yet. I think the Buckeyes have a firmer game plan in hand right now, and they're executing that right now. So they got something up their sleeve, like we said before, and the Buckeyes are going to be doing the flipping this year and not being on the other end of being flipped. Is how I feel about that. The safety position, Matt Guerrieri is, bro, he's out and about. He's visiting a lot of people, the DMV area. Me and Funky talked about that before the show. He stopped at St. Francis in Baltimore on Monday to visit Amari Poldor, 6', 175, number 490, nationally committed to Penn State. He also visited, and this is the one I'm being told to keep the eye on, Kamari Bing. OSU offered him already, 6', 190, 184 nationally, not ranked the best, but committed to Maryland right now. And the final one to keep an eye on, Jordan Davis, 6'2, 190, safety, Baylor commit. Matty G has started the conversation up with him. So, like we've been saying, the defensive staff, we'll get into the offense a little bit, but the defensive side of this class is the class that I think we want to look at the most, and maybe get some people that are looking at defensive ends, defensive tackles, corners, linebackers, and safeties. So they are all over the board here. All the coaches are out visiting. They have a plan in place, and that's what they're executing. So I have complete faith in this coaching staff and the plan that they have. And I think we'll be a little more excited on this signing day than we normally are. Funky, anything to add to that before we switch to offensive line? I'm going to grab something while you add to that.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see how Matty G finishes his class. Clearly, we had a miss with forgetting his name, the kid who committed the Auburn, Braylon Womack. So it'd be interesting to see who Matty G goes to next, and I expect him to go back to the DMV area this weekend to swing around more of those DC kids and be around them more. And should be interesting to see how Matty G continues to do, because he's been an amazing recruiter for the Buckeyes, and just in general, I mean, he's a future defensive coordinator for Ohio State or somewhere. So I'm excited to see where he goes over the weekend. I think it's going to be the DMV. I think he's going back to the DMV. If he doesn't go to the DMV, then I can see him going to Florida. But we will see where he goes. I don't know where else he would go to besides those. But I was told on pretty good authority that he's going back to the DMV. So that's where my chips are in the middle at.
Yeah. Speaking of Braylon Womack, spoke to his dad just like a day ago or something. Braylon went and watched his film recently. Probably shouldn't say this, but he looks better than he does last year. He looks way faster, way better. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully, I don't want the Buckeyes to give up there, but we will see what happens.
A boomer sooner for that one. So
Yeah, you're darn right, man. You're darn right. So the offensive class, quarterback, dude, Funky, I know you got some stuff to say about the absolute steal we got in Luke Fahey. Do you expect him to rise up in the rankings, or do you expect people to you expect him to stay lower? He deserves to be rising up. He deserves to be a top 10 QB in this class. Would you agree with that or not?
yeah, he deserves to be in that conversation for sure. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure in the recent rankings for rivals, he wasn't even in like the top 20 or 30. But then like it just that stuff just doesn't really make any sense to me because if you want to watch his tape versus literally the best competition in the entire nation. And it's not even debatable. You can look at the teams he's playing, and it's funny. We were just talking about uh, who Santa Margarita High School, Southern California team coached by Carson Palmer, is playing the next 4 weeks, and it was Bishop Gorman, Servite, Modern Day, St. John Bosco is their next 4 games. So when you're watching tape from these Santa Margarita kids, or really kids in that area, like Luke Fahey, sorry, for Mission Viejo, and this is a competition that you're playing in Southern Section Division One football, you're playing the best of the best every single week. So and he's winning. And he's winning. And he doesn't have all this talent on his team. And they go against D1 talent. He's a few D1 guys on his team. Clearly, they're a very good team. But he's been performing all year. He's a winner. He makes the games. He uses his feet when need to. He makes good throws. He doesn't turn the ball over. So to me, he should be in that conversation because as a true passer, he's shown throughout his entire career that he's one of the best of the best. Like these 7-on-7 competitions between these Southern California teams, Mission Viejo, well, oops, like they win or make it to the finals every single year that he's been the lead at quarterback. And that's not a
Yeah.
joke because you're going against literally the best of the best in the entire nation. I mean, some of the teams, Servite would be a top 25 team. And then you got the St. John Bosco and Modern Day. So that'll be, and they go and play Bishop Gorman a lot of time in those West Coast teams. So should be absolutely interesting to see how he continues to perform and see if he could lead Mission Viejo to they're going for a state championship. I mean, they saw Modern Day is beatable. So once a team gets beaten once, every team thinks they can beat them. So that's their goal. I talking to a kid on his team recently, and they want to win it all. And I think Luke Fahey's more than good enough to win that or win it all
Yeah.
for them. And so it should be interesting. He'll continue to be criminally underrated because he doesn't have those physical attributes that you're looking for in a top 100 quarterback. Like he's not 6'3", he's not super fast, he doesn't have a super big arm, but man, is he good at quarterback. And that stuff sometimes
Yeah.
it's really, really hard to teach, especially at the high school level. And I don't know what his ceiling is at Ohio State, Devin, but I'm very sure that he's going to be a very solid college quarterback, like a
Yeah, I
very solid
misspoke.
quarterback.
I misspoke when I said top 10. I meant top 20. You helped me realize that.
Yeah.
He's ranked the number 34, number 35 quarterback in the nation. I'm not saying the dude is, elite or anything like that, but just what he's doing on the field this year with passing to who he's passing to and the teams he's playing, everything you just said, he's proven that he is a top 20 quarterback in the nation. I mean, just go
Obviously.
watch some of the film of and what some of these other quarterbacks ranked ahead of them are doing this year. I mean, his completion percentage is leagues above some of these other quarterbacks. But so we're covered there. We are more than covered at the wide receiver position. Running back position. Haven't heard much about that. We got one, but we signed three
Last year, yeah.
last year that look like they're all going to be contributors, which is just wild. So we go to the tight end position. Corbin Fordham has been signed, but the Buckeyes seem to be looking for another tight end this class. So that's something to keep an eye on. Nick Lantor, 6'5", 225, out of Lebanon, Ohio. He was at the OU game, so the Buckeyes are keeping an eye there. So that's a position that the Buckeyes seem to be looking at. And you can't really blame them because with what the Buckeyes are doing with tight ends this year, they're proving it and showing it on the field. Therefore, it allows, right, some of these prospects to see this, and it might open their eyes a little more. And I can't believe we didn't hit on that on the defensive side of the ball with what Matt Patricia is doing this year with Arvell Reese and this defensive line and pretty much the entire defense. I believe that's going to open some recruits' eyes, maybe the Luke Wafel's eyes, the Danny Odom's eyes, and some other recruits, because this defense looks super fun to play in. And you can say the same thing on the offensive side of the ball with what the Buckeyes are doing offensively and with the way Julian Sand looks and the way they've developed the tight end position. And Max Clear signing the tight end position is something to readdress, maybe go back on some of these ones we missed on and try it. But the other position, the offensive line, we got 4 guys in this class already: Sam Greer, Maxwell Riley, um, Tucker, and dang, my dude, too many names in my mind. The future all. I predicted future all. Aaron Thomas, my dude, Aaron Thomas, only been playing offensive line for 2 years, so even if you just sign these 4, we're loaded. But the Buckeyes are looking for 5, and I love it. Landry Breed, one out of Mentor, Ohio, 6'5", 280 pounds. The Buckeyes are looking at him. He's committed to NC State. The Buckeyes offered him. A week later, he came to the OU game, and he's visiting NC State this upcoming week. Funky, you kind of talked about that a little bit. I predict, very curious to see what that NC State visit is for and the conversation that happens there. Before I let you go, Funky, on your last little rant here, because you got 3 minutes, Bowen is visiting Guthrie on Friday. The Clemson commit, Ohio tackle, 240 nationally, 6'7", 280. But Landry Breed is the one I'm focusing on here. What's your thoughts there, Funky?
I think the Buckeyes are going to get a commitment out of Breed very shortly. I think he's a good kid with a good head on his shoulders, with a good family, and he's looking, and he doesn't want to make a decision too rash. But at the end of the day, this offer from Ohio State is not just his dream offer, but his parents' dream offer, his brother's dream offers, his sister's dream offers. So it's something that I think is going to be too good to pass up on, and I think he's going to end up joining the class, and I think he's just going to go to NC State, because I think he already had this visit scheduled before, so he doesn't want to, cancel a visit or be a kid who flipped a week before his visit. Go to the visit, enjoy his time there, and probably come home and be like, "Yep, I want to go to Ohio State." So I think he's going to flip to the Buckeyes whenever he makes that decision. But it is worth keeping an eye on how NC State does in that game, because, like we said, a win helps your chances, and a loss pretty much shuts the door on him. So it should be pretty interesting. But I think the Buckeyes end up flipping him, and I think Tyler Bowen's visit this weekend to I always mispronounce his name, to the offensive tackle in State, Clemson commit offensive tackle, Guthrie, Adam Guthrie, is crucial, because I think this shows that he's a top priority. But the one question I have is, how badly did Fry mess this one up? Because Fry kind of did. Not really, but kind of did metaphorically stick the middle finger up to this kid and told him to go elsewhere. So, but we don't want that to happen. Like, this kid's a good player, and Tyler Bowen realizes Fry kind of screwed up, and Fry kind of was also looking into the NFL, so he really wasn't putting too much effort in anyone. So not the crap on Fry, but that's all true. And so it looks like the Buckeyes are going to have one last hurrah at this, and it's going to be interesting to see what any of these Clemson commits do, Devin, because you see what the team's doing on the field.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of nothing. Dabo Swinney looks like he's out the door. Even if he's not out the door, his comments are concerning. There was like, "Yep, fire me if you want me gone. You'll see you at this program." Like, I don't know. That's not stuff I want to hear from my head coach, no matter what.
List your list of accomplishments while you're up there as well.
Oh yeah.
List everything you've ever done as a coach that's good while you're up there. But it's interesting, Funk, you bring up Clemson. I like the Buckeyes cutthroat, bro. They're going after Dre Quinn, the defensive end that's committed to them, going and visited Guthrie. Like, hey, I love this type of action from the Buckeyes. They normally don't play in that realm, this cutthroat realm, but I think it's happened to them so many times that they're like, you know what? Let's get this thing going. A lot of people want the Buckeyes to take their gloves off in the recruiting realm. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit with the way the Buckeyes are going to handle this class. I think it's going to be a little different than we're used to, especially on signing day. I really do believe that. But Funky, I know you got to get out of here, bro. You got any final words for us before you get off here?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm excited to talk to y'all again sometime, hopefully next week. And as always, go Buckeyes, and back-to-back national champions, hopefully. So thanks for having me on, Devin, and I'll see you guys later. But have a good show, Devin.
Yes, sir. OH, brother.
IO.
Yeah, man, it's good getting Funky on here. He got a pretty busy life right now, but we got a text thread, and he stays up to date on all this stuff. He's sending me stuff all the time with what the Buckeyes are doing, with what college football is doing just in general. They got rid of one of the transfer portal dates. I think I forget what one they got rid of. They got rid of the wrong one. I know that. I just can't remember the exact details on that, but I love getting Funky on here. And I love what the Buckeyes are doing. It's absolutely amazing. I saved this for the end here. Thanks, Chris Lane, for the $2. Deva's Eye Candy. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I saw your comment. You had me smiling pretty big on here. I appreciate that. At least if I can just be some type of, positive light in somebody's life, whether that's eye candy, whether that's they like what I'm saying, whether that's I'm good at what I do. I don't really care as long as it's something positive. I like that. So, you got pretty good chat going on there during that. I had to ignore it, not on purpose, because I was trying to stay focused. And if I would have went down that road, I probably would have lost my focus and started blushing and all those things, because that still happens. I'm human. I'll do it. I'll blush on live air. Liz, I starred this one. Hey, Deb, you decided to watch party for the Huskers on Saturday. Well, I thought I would have that answer tonight. I'm going to have that answer tomorrow. So you're going to get it late. I might come on tomorrow and do a show. I don't know yet, but either way, look for me. Tomorrow, if I'm going to do it, I'll schedule it tomorrow. Okay, so I really want to. I'm waiting on some confirmation on whether I'm going to be heading out of town or not. If I am, I can't do it. If I'm going to be here, I am doing the Nebraska Scum watch party. I really want to do it. I had a blast on the last one. I didn't think I would, but I had a blast on the last Ohio State one anyway. So I'll keep you guys updated. Hit that alert bell and then keep watching, see if I get it scheduled. Johnny, thanks for $1.99. Nice story table. Is this the Johnny? I can't remember. Is Johnny the one that always tells me about my shaky table? I know. I need to fix it. If that's you, look, watch me. I'm just going to click a button. Oh, it didn't shake, did it? I just need to be gentle. Sometimes I'm not very gentle with things. So yeah, as you can see, Buckeyes are still doing their thing on the recruiting trail. I don't know if I pulled this one up, but Johnny, you sent another $1.99. Oh, nice sturdy table. Yeah, dude, I know, bro. I need to not touch it. I need to go like this. I'm telling you, it's this tiny little. I don't know if I can show it to you guys. Look at this thing. Now, don't look at my shorts. My American flag shorts. See how tiny that thing is? See? You guys know those people that they wear tuxes and stuff on online stuff, but they got shorts below? Totally me. If you can tell, I got on I think several of y'all have seen that before, my traditional American flag shorts. I bet y'all love that. Hat stickers next week. I'm ripping off those hat stickers next week. Well, I ripped the top one off. I just always forget to do it. There, Dennis. Boom. Gone. You happy? Gotcha. But yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Steely, thanks for the text. He texted me, let me know. The other guys aren't going, so we can go a little longer. Is anybody interested in coming on here and yapping about anything? Because I'll put the link in the chat if you want me to. You guys can come on here. But yeah, going to be a good game this weekend with Nebraska and Scum. I'm real curious to see, when Nebraska played Cincinnati, won 20-17. My curiosity there is if Nebraska is going to be able to stop the running game for 4 quarters. 4 quarters. And also Bryce Underwood's legs. I'm not concerned with his passing ability, to be honest with you, on like winning the game. He's just a freshman. He'll get better at that. I think he's going to end up being a good quarterback. But right now, I think it's his legs that Nebraska better focus on more than anything because he's a freshman. He's going to have some errant throws during this game. And I think Nebraska has good enough secondary to maybe get some turnovers there and different things. But it's going to come down to the third and fourth quarter in this game. And is Nebraska going to be able to get that ball back when they need to? Are they going to be able to get them to fourth down and stop the just loaded run game, loading up the front, and just, that Michigan power offense that they play with running the ball? Are they going to be able to stop that? But the Buckeyes have off. I'm very sad about that. But I'll tell you what I'm excited about. Dennis, you're in on this too, man, because I'm about to see my dude Dennis here very quickly going to the Washington game. I tell you guys that all the time. I can't help but tell you that because I'm super excited. Very, very excited for that to go on this little cruise. What I'm not excited about, and I kind of knew this was going to happen, is that they set the game for 3:30. Let me tell you why. Because that means it's 12:30 on that time. Now, what that means is I'm going to have to get up at like 7:30 in the morning to get on this cruise at 8 in the morning. So by the time I wake up, it's going to be 10 and the cruise is probably going to almost be over. So I'm thinking about just not going to sleep. I'm thinking about getting on the plane, landing, getting in the hotel, and not going to sleep so I can just stay awake because it takes me a while to wake up, especially on the weekend. I'm just programmed on the weekend to, unless I'm golfing or like something like that. But I bet you the juice, knowing what I'm about to do, is going to get me up. So I take all that back. I'm going to wake up very easily because it's the Buckeyes. Hey, I don't expect anybody to hit this. And how do I do this again? I'm putting the link in the chat. Nobody hit it last time. I don't expect anybody to hit it again, but I know that they don't have a show scheduled, right? I'm about to check because sometimes they put it on there late. Yeah, no, I don't see one, so that's good. So yeah, we'll see. It's exciting. I'm excited for this Buckeyes team and what they got going on this year. Julian Sam. Here's what I wanted to remind you guys about. The thing about Julian Sam, chat. Let's say a 10 out of 10 is Julian playing his best football that he's ever going to play throughout his career. Grade Julian saying right now, out of 10, 10 being a 10 out of 10 being the best he is going to be in his career. Dude, I'm at like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5. And that's pretty wild because I think Julian saying, with as good as he is playing, has so much more to go. And I think that's obvious to say because first-time starting quarterback has only played in 3 games. Yeah, Chris, lunatic, 6. Yeah. 7. Okay, I just think, I mean, experience alone, you know what I mean? Experience alone, he's going to get so much better, at playing this game that we call football. And especially, dude, with the coaching staff we have with Brian Hartline, he's also going to get better at calling the plays. I think Ryan Day is going to bring him along nicely. Yeah, I see a lot of 6s in here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Chris, dude, he does. His release and the way he throws the ball, the way that glides through the air is amazing. So excited to see what he does in the future. I'm curious, guys. I know I've already talked about this once, but I want to talk about it again, mainly just to bring up something to talk about. I didn't plan to do this, but they're not having a show, so I'm going to go a little longer for you guys so you can stay in the chat and enjoy each other. I'm surprised you guys aren't talking about food, honestly. I shouldn't have brought that up. You're going to now. Anyway, Mark 7, Linda 6. Yeah, so we're on the same page there. We all see that Julian Sayin has like serious potential. My question is for you, chat. I want you to give me in order your top 3 freshmen that you want to see get more playing time than they are already getting right now. Top 3 freshmen on offensive or defensive side of the ball that you want to see get more playing time than they already are now. Just give me 2 seconds so I can think about my list. All right, I got my list. We're going to start with number 3. I know everybody's number 1 is Bo. I know that. But I'm going to start with number 3. My number 3 is Jarquez Carter. I really like what Jarquez Carter does when he gets in the game, the power that he has on that defensive line. And with Matt Patricia and what he's able to do on this defensive line, the different things he has him doing, I really like that. But it's a hard one. He's been getting in games. I just want to see him get more snaps because think about what was going on at defensive tackle. K-Mac, absolutely elite. Okay. Tywone Malone played over Edric Houston. So there's that there going on, that different dynamic that you got going on there. Jason Moore has been injured, and he was the one that was my order there. You had K-Mac, Edric Houston, Tywone Malone, Will Smith Jr. is in there as well. But I think rotating in Jarquez Carter a little more. So far, what I've seen him do, I've loved it. And you guys, I see the name coming up for my number 2, which is Riley Pettyjohn. I just can't get over when I watched him go in that Grambling game and I saw what he did, the athleticism that he has, the ability he has to make plays. I love it. And I don't have Devin Sanchez on this list strictly because he's already been getting a bunch of snaps. He's already the first corner off the bench. So that's why he's not on the list. I like the position he's in right now. Like he's fully integrated in the starting rotation already. So just to explain to you guys why he's not on my list. I mean, he's up there at 1 or 2, but he's getting the playing time already that I like to see him get to gain that experience and be the first corner off the bench. I like it already. But my number 1 is Bo Jackson. Yeah, obviously. So it's just hard because I think I missed a little bit on James Peoples as of now. I guess my expectations for James Peoples was that, and they're unfair expectations because he didn't get to play a lot last year. I just expected him to come out and look like the number 1 back immediately, right? And that was unfair of me. Didn't get a lot of experience last year, so you can't expect him to come in and do that. CJ Donaldson is what he is, but boy, when Bo Jackson gets in the game, I know I've talked about this 100 times. When he gets in the game, it's just different. He's just got it. And the other aspect about this is you hear what J.J. Smith says about him. If you want to find out the truth about players on a football team, who do you ask? It's interesting. I'm interested what the chat thinks. If you want to find out the truth about how a certain player is playing on the football team, who should you ask? Should you ask an insider? Should you ask a coach? Steve nailed it. That's what it is. It's the players, man. Okay, so when everybody was debating who's the starter, Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz, I had some conversations with some players that told me about 2 months prior to that it is hands down Julian Sayin. It's not really up for debate. They see it. They've seen it for a minute. It's Julian Sayin. The same thing's happening at running back right now. Okay. Well, we've heard Jeremiah Smith and a couple other players publicly do it, but I've had some conversations as well with a few people, and that's what they're saying. They see it too. The players on the team see it as well. So I keep thinking about that list I just made, and there's so many freshmen making an impact. Nate Roberts, pretty much your starting fullback. Dennis. Bro, you just threw me all the way off, Dennis. That's a good one, bro. Yeah, I didn't think about when I showed you that my table that I'd be like showing you, right at my shorts area. That wasn't what I was pointing. Oh, I want to say so many things, but I'm live on Devin. You're live on YouTube. You're live on YouTube. You're live on YouTube. Okay, here we go. What was going on? Yeah, Nate Roberts. This 24 class, this 25 class that we signed, the amount of players that are making an impact are making an impact still to this day. It just shows you how elite this Buckeye coaching staff is at evaluating these players. You see the class they signed in 25, trust them for this class in 26. So, guys, I'm done. I don't have anything else to talk about. I can't just keep rambling on, but I appreciate you guys for watching. Blame Dennis for the show being over if you want to blame somebody, because that did it. I can't think of anything else now. And the chat can't either, because that's all you guys are talking about. Oh, you got to love it. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys supporting the show all the time. Sorry about not going here recently, and some of the shows. Work is getting pretty insane right now, and some other things. So, the truth is that a show is only going to be as good as the amount of time that you put into it. And I put as much as I can into it, but here over the past week, 2 weeks, it's been really hard to find free time to put into it and do my work. Like the notes I had tonight, these were the notes I had 3 days ago when I told you I forgot my notes on the show. These were the notes I had 3 days ago and just now talking about it. So, love this. Love the community here, man. I love coming on here and doing this every night. Mello, I wish Mello could be here with me more. Hopefully that situation changes. He can get on here more. You'll probably see different people with me over the next couple weeks or for however long. Nevada will be joining me sometimes. Funky, maybe B Moses. And, hey, if anybody's interested in trying this YouTube thing out, shoot me a email and we'll have some fun, man. This is a fan show. I'll have anybody on here. We'll talk Buckeye football, talk your ideas, whatever you want. So on that note, guys, appreciate the heck with you guys. Hope you guys have an absolutely blessed night. Spread love, spread positivity. It's a dark world. I know it. Don't get all caught up in your emotions and just try to do the next right thing. Those are my words of wisdom for the night. Dennis, that we are. We're going to party Friday night for sure. For sure. As long as I bring my pills, we're going to be good, man. On that note, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OHIO. Bye.
Yeah, he was on go.